at the end of the day, we all need to add more to our lives. And I think that both the book and the course ended up doing that in a way I just did not expect. And it also helped me get back to kind of like my essential Kelsey-ness after giving a lot of that away to nurturing and raising a business, nurturing and raising a child, maintaining my like very important life partnerships.
Welcome to No Surprises, a look inside the ambitious, joyful, and occasionally terrifying journey of creators. And we are here today. We are wrapping up the second season of our podcast. We've had many wonderful guests. And as we close out, we're actually going to, instead of bringing on another guest, talk to our very own Kelsey Goldberg-Kryling about her book and her course. Book will have already come out. It comes out on July 31st. It is called Squarespace from Signup to Launch. And the course launches on August 14th.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
I'm really impressed that you're
Better Than Launched Advanced Squarespace Tools with the SuperHi community. So Kelsey, we are here today to talk to you about your very own creative process.
Oh my. I mean, it is such an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me on this podcast. It's an honor to be considered.
If I'm being honest, I feel like I phoned it in because I was going to be playing Kiss from a Rose in the background as I produced you, but I couldn't figure out the audio.
You know, I do love Seal. I do love Seal. And I feel that Kiss from a Rose is a perfect song. I will not be taking questions on this topic further.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. It's weird.
You've been on this ride. The ride has been going on for approximately 8 months.
I looked it up the other day and I looked up the date that I got the first message from the publisher. And by the time the book launches, it will be essentially 35 weeks and 4 days, which is, 3 days faster than I built Jasper and built and delivered a human. So yeah, it started back in November. I remember very clearly because I was definitely at my parents' for Thanksgiving when I submitted the original proposal.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely not something that I thought I would do at like this point in my life, but it's been a really interesting.
You answered the call. But this was okay. So for everyone out there, I know a little too much about this, so I'm going to try and play a little bit dumb, and I hopefully.
Oh, I like it.
Right? I'm like, dumb. I know a little bit too much about this. In fact, I believe I was living in your basement when this was going on.
Yeah.
So this all began actually with the book, and you were contacted directly to create a book on the Squarespace 7.1 platform.
Yes. So there is a technical publisher called Packt, P-A-C-K-T, and they publish books that serve primarily the purpose of like teaching people about different technical tools. So I would say that like Squarespace is probably on the lower end of technology for them. But
everyone likes to dog on Squarespace, man.
It's not that it's, and I'm not trying to dog on it when I say like, but it's like when you look at their other courses, it's like stuff that it's like
JS3. It's like Python.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like deep code development, Python type stuff.
Yeah. Stuff that I'm just like,
what?
Oh, yeah. Like I have a passing knowledge, but I'm not like, I can't even.
We're aesthetic girlies.
Right.
We're aesthetic girlies. We like a clean user face.
Yeah.
And work smarter, not harder.
Well, and that's the thing is like my whole thing, and I would say our whole thing, because you and I have been very much on this journey together, is like websites can be very intimidating for a lot of people. And I think I have loved the part of our business and our work together that makes having a website feel like it is just an essential part of a business's toolkit. And it's not something that you need to hire someone totally special because they have some kind of like unique wizard knowledge. For most people, Squarespaces have to be a functioning and useful part of their work. So I felt a little challenged when they reached out because I was looking at the other books that they did. And I was just like, oh God, I'm like really intimidated by this, because how am I going to write a book that stands up to, all of these other super technical pieces of work? And I got really good advice from a lot of people while I was going through this process. And one of the pieces of advice, because I was really going back and forth, like, should I do this? This is going to take a lot of time. This is not really something I thought I would do with a slightly older than 1-year-old son at home. But also like kind of like got the feedback that I should just write the proposal. I should just like write the outline and see how I felt while I was writing the outline, and then like see how I felt and then decide whether or not to pitch it to them, and then let them make the choice, right? Like let them decide if it's a good fit for them. So I tried to write an outline and a pitch that felt very like the book I wanted to write and the book that I felt like the people I wanted to educate would want to read, and then kind of like let them decide. Right. And it was really cool. It was like a really good process to write that outline. And ultimately they ended up deciding to move forward with it. And it's been great. I mean, they provided like a really rigid structure for me to follow. I had an editor, I had a project manager, I had people who walked me kind of through each step of this process. And because it is a technical book, there is a lot that you have to do to like check the boxes. But I'm really glad I decided to do it.
Yeah. And I've had the pleasure of reading the first 7 chapters, and I can say that you really did make it your own. So what I don't think I've read too many technical books, so I'm no like expert on this, but from the perspective when you're like learning, when you're trying to learn and you're reading and you're that sort of visual learner where you read and you absorb, you make it so delightful and you cover everything, which is great because I like when you have some source material to go back to and not just a video. Now we'll get there. And it's going to be a segue into the other thing that you ended up doing, because what more is better. Just keep, like let's do it all at once. That's my philosophy. I'm either doing absolutely nothing or I'm doing 15 things at the same time. And I will be honest, I excel better at the latter.
Oh, dude, same.
But right. I can't. If I have like 20 meetings in a day, I will have the most productive day outside of that as well. I don't know how. It's a little messed up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But God help us if we have one meeting in the day, because then there's nothing else getting done.
I'm like, what do I do with myself? Mallory, treat yourself.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Go
what to
for
do
a
with
long
today.
lunch. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so we have the book. The book comes out on July 31st, which will actually be already out by the time that this episode airs.
Yeah.
So I'll mention this again, but you can get it on Packed, right? Packed.com is where it's going to be sold, or tell me more about where it's going to be sold.
Everywhere books are books is what I've been saying. So Amazon is probably the easiest place to get it. And you can purchase it as an ebook there, or as like a, what's the opposite of an ebook? A book. I think it's like a book.
Like a book.
Like a book.
A soft cover.
So you can get a touchy one if you want. And then it's like Barnes and Noble and hopefully Bookshop, which is my preferred place to buy books, but they like Amazon. So that's like the weird part. I didn't know we were going through this process, and I'm just like, I'm writing, I'm sending off drafts, I'm getting back stuff, I'm editing it. I was just like in the process. And then because I am a person who does things on the internet, I had like a Google alert for my own name for other reasons too. Like I'm super scared of people posting things on the internet about me I don't know about. Anyway, I got an alert that was like, there's something new. And it was for Barnes and Noble.
Oh, that's a dream come true. That's like my dream come true.
I was like, I cannot express how much time I spent in Barnes and Noble
Oh
growing
my
up
God.
in Las Vegas.
So much time. So much. Yeah.
So
'Cause
much time.
there was one right by my high school. Like I grew up devouring books. I lived in a Barnes and Noble because I lived in the suburbs. And so like, I
Yes.
didn't like really live close to like a downtown area with a bookstore.
Yes.
And I'm one of those people who loves libraries and loves
Yep.
the smell of books, and I
Mhm.
hate the Kindle. And I prefer anyway. I just got chills for you. This is very exciting.
I mean,
Barnes and Noble.
I just was like, I kind of like saw it, and then I felt like the smell wave, and I was
Yes.
immediately transported. And I never thought that was going to happen. Now, I don't actually know if like physical copies are going to be in bookstores of this. There's some parts of this that are really mysterious to me,
I really,
being honest with you.
I know. Well, yeah, because that's the part of the publishing part and the marketing part that like you don't really touch. It just happens. That's the benefit of having a publisher, which is really nice. It means you don't get as much control, but honestly, if I were in your shoes, I'd be doing it the same exact way.
Yeah. It was, there's no way I would have gotten it done otherwise. And it was a really, really, really fun, really hard process. I was sick multiple times. I like definitely had COVID at one point during the writing process. And I swear to God, the people that I worked with are so nice, but they would get these emails from me that are like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to miss my deadline by like 12 hours, but I swear I'm going to get it to you. And then I'm going to adjust the deadlines and I'm going to catch up here. And it's like, I just know that they're sitting in their offices, slacking each other or like Microsoft Teamsing each other. Like, this woman is taking this way too seriously.
They're like, John, we don't need to worry about Kelsey doing. No, she's a self-manager.
Well, it was so funny because I finished the project, and the guy Mayank, who is the person who actually reached out to me on LinkedIn in the 9 months between when we connected and he was doing like developer relations and author kind of like cultivation, he's changed roles and he's now on the marketing team that's going to be helping market the book. And he was like, you did so good. You met your deadlines. And I realized like, that's probably just like something that's like very rare because everyone writing these books, like they're professionals. They have lives outside of, writing this stuff. So I felt very proud of myself. I did not meet every deadline, for the record. I did a lot of zhuzhing. I ultimately met the final deadlines, but in the middle,
that's the one that counts. That's all the one that counts. This is the last deadline.
Exactly.
Just give me the dead, like give me the drop dead.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so back to the topic of doing the most, and just reminding you that yes, you can do hard things, and more than we ever think we can or should sometimes when we are motivated, which is wonderful. You went ahead and decided. Well, actually, I'm going to let you tell this story because I like it. When you talk about how the course came about and the idea of something that is specifically a build along.
Yeah. So I would never read a book about the internet, like making things on the internet, but that's like a me thing. Right. So yeah, I would never really write like a book about or read a book about like how to use Squarespace. So the whole time I'm writing this book, I feel this like itch that is not being scratched because it is so hard to describe how to use a compute, like how to use software. And I just kept being like, I just wish I could show them a video because it's very hard to say like, okay, navigate to this page, navigate to this page. Also, God love them. Squarespace has changed the location of all of the settings pages at least twice over the process of writing this book. And that is like the hardest.
I was wondering about that. I was like, are we going to hook you up with some addendums? Like, what are we going to do?
It has been a journey. And I had to, at some point, just like make peace with the fact that this is like a photo of a moment in time of the platform. I have to focus on writing this in such a way that it's focused on like the ideology and like the methodology and technique behind it, and not just like this button exists here
under this setting, right?
Yeah. And also I knew I was going to build like a companion website that people could use and reference. So that kind of gave me an out. But anyway, I was feeling very like that the project was going to be kind of undone. And there were also these other topics that I really wanted to go further into. Like you could write a whole book on commerce. You could write an entire book on memberships, email marketing, all of that stuff. And it was impossible to encapsulate it in 25 pages. So I reached out to Pact, and sometimes they've done video courses that accompany different books. And I was like, hey, I want to do a video course of this. My contract doesn't preclude me from doing it elsewhere, but I want to offer it to you all first to see if you want this. And they're like, we're not really working on that right now. We're not really focusing on that area in our business. So thanks, but no thanks. And I was like, all right, cool. So I kind of just tucked it away. And I thought, well, maybe at some point I'll do this later as like a follow-up to the course and kind of build some, something like a tool that maybe like feeds our business or whatever. And then SuperHi, which is a creative education platform that started really with like very code heavy and design heavy courses, was going to do this thing called SuperHi Plus. And SuperHi is very interesting because they're really focused on building like more sustainable ways for people to be designers. So a couple of years ago, they actually piloted this like universal basic income program for designers to see like what the impact of just like having some money on people's creative process would be, which was really interesting. And they wanted to expand their course catalog. So they announced that they were doing this thing called SuperHi Plus. And it was going to be the first time that they worked with creators outside of their company. Previously, any of the courses that are on SuperHi were built by people who were SuperHi employees. And they wanted to figure out if there was a way that they could expand their course catalog while also like investing in people who would not otherwise be creators, which was so cool to me in concept. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I was chatting with Max, who is one of their community managers, senior community manager, I believe. And I was like, oh, hey, by the way, like I saw the announcement about SuperHi Plus. Congrats. Like that looks like really cool, endeavor. Not at all putting two and two together, right? Like I was just like, oh, looks like a cool idea. And he was like, are you going to apply? And my immediate reaction was like, no, I'm writing a book. I have a company. I have a son, like I have a small child. Not to mention trying to just like be a human and a family member and a partner to other people around me. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I could do it. And then I don't know if it's a good fit for me. And he's like, I don't know. I think you should shoot your shot. And so I thought about it, and it felt like it was one of those things where you just know in your head, like, oh, this is gonna hurt, but like, I think I should do this. Like,
yeah,
I'm never gonna have this momentum again. And also, if I'm gonna do it, I kind of want to do it now. Like, if my free time is already gone,
right? Yeah.
So it was, and I'm so glad I did, because it has ended up being really amazing. And I feel like my life over the last 4 years really has like contracted to be quite concentrated. Like, I don't want to sound like a big loser, but Mallory, week of the website, my husband, Zach, Jasper, my family, our teammates on Slack, basically the only people I talk to. Like,
right.
I like, they're the only community I was really engaging in. They're the only network I was talking to. And like, at the end of the day, we all need to add more to our lives. And I think that both the book and the course ended up doing that in a way I just did not expect. And it also helped me get back to kind of like my essential Kelsey-ness after giving a lot of that away to nurturing and raising a business, nurturing and raising a child, maintaining my like very important life partnerships. and it just like helped me find my way back to that. So it was really cool. And the cohort's filled with like brilliant, amazing people. And it's let me focus on like talking more about some of these advanced tools. Sorry, I just kept going on and on, but
no, it was great. This is all stuff that I was going to ask about. So thank you for doing my job for me. Well, Kels, thank you for that. The course drops on SuperHi on August 14th. Any other details you want to give about that I'm missing? You can just sign up, I'm assuming, on the website.
Yeah, I have a website, Kelsey-ness.com. That's kind of like the central hub for all of this stuff. I think the last thing I want to say is I would be remiss if I didn't publicly and exuberantly thank all of the people that made this possible. I had to like very much lean into my community, and the best part of this project has been collaborating with all of the talented people around me. So Raina has helped me edit videos. Mal wrote the foreword, you know, 2 of the team members, Shelly and Justin, were my technical readers for the book. Like, this has become a labor of community, and that's the best part of all of it. So I'm really grateful to everyone for helping make it happen.
And the buzzword is community, which actually is going to be the theme of our 3rd season of No Surprises.
Stop it. It is?
Yes.
That is such a weird coincidence that I would say that, and then it would be the theme for the next. That's freaking crazy, man.
What a ride. What a ride. So more updates. Follow by Kelsey GK on Instagram. That's where you can find all of the most up-to-date information on launches. I know you're doing some AMAs and other podcasts and stuff to promo. But yeah, so this is a wrap on season 2. We're actually going to be back probably in about, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe not even, with our new season on community. So
excited.
You can watch me too. Actually, the guests, we actually have pretty much all of our guests lined up already, and the guests are superb. Yeah, you can check us out on No Surprises on YouTube, where you can watch us and our lovely faces. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts. You can see an aggregate of everything we've ever done on this at weekofthewebsite.com/no-surprises podcast. It'll be in the meeting notes. I should know this. I can't keep it all straight anymore. Anyway,
it's too much.
Well, Kels, thrilled for you, thrilled for season 3. And we'll be back with even more delightfulness soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining.